today live longer than men do, and life expectancy of women has increased globally by 20 years since 1960. So there you have all the continents. And if you look at Sub-Saharan Africa, although life expectancy has increased in about 12 years, women have the lowest expectancy of the world, about 54 years of age, compared with 83 for the high-income countries. But we also know that although women are living longer, relative to boys and men, and compared with rich countries, today in the developing world there are 4 million women and girls that are dying too early, that should have not died if they were to live in a richer country compared with men and boys. And these women and girls died in 3 different age groups. There are the girls that die before birth. This is the sex selection bias that we find in India, the son preference, or in China. There are girls that die under age 5 because of infectious diseases. The girls that die because there is no health services or access to clean water. And there is the overwhelming majority of women, about a third of these early deaths, that are the women that die during their reproductive years, mostly due to maternal mortality. And the problem is not only still there, it's increasing. If we think about maternal mortality in the case of Nigeria, as we've heard a lot, it's still a problem. Let's think about Sweden, one of the probably perfect countries or the ideal countries that we talk about with gender equality. For every woman that dies of maternal issues in Sweden, about 500 women will die in Nigeria. And the rates in Nigeria are the equivalent of maternal death in Sweden in the 1800s. And the issue is that we know what we need. We know what can be done to reduce maternal mortality. If we look at labor force participation, we know that women have joined the labor markets, the rural markets, and have become entrepreneurs quite rapidly in the last 30 years to about 500 million women now in the labor force, and 4 out of 10 workers are women. But we also, everywhere in the world. In Sub-Saharan Africa, the participation of women in the economy was already quite high. So the increase has not been as large, but it's still relevant. But we also know that regardless of where they work, women earn less than men do. Women as farmers have lower profits, entrepreneurs do the same, and women in the paid labor force earn less than men. And this is an example. For every dollar that a woman makes in the formal sector in, say, Germany, a woman will make 62 cents. If you look at farmers for Nigeria, a woman will make 60 cents for a dollar that a man makes. And if you look at entrepreneurs in Bangladesh, the difference is 12 cents to a dollar. And this is not only because, it's not because women are not as productive or not as good workers or not as good entrepreneurs. It's because they're clustered in low productivity jobs, lower income farms, or small firms in low productivity sectors. It's because women are in a lower productive part of the economy than men are. If we look at rights, and we've heard already of this being a lot of progress in terms of recognizing women's rights. We think almost worldwide, every country has recognized and signed international agreements that make them legally bound to gender equality, like CEDAW or the Convention for Equality, for the elimination of all forms of discrimination against women. But we also know, for example, in the private sphere, that about 500 million women will be abused by their partners during their lifetime. And this happens everywhere. So these are cities in different countries. If we look at Ethiopia, we have almost 50% of women that will be victims of abuse. And even in a city like Yokohama in Japan, where the rate is low, with 13%, we're talking about 250,000 women experiencing violence. Not only they experience violence, but in many cases and in many countries, women find violence justified So in the case of Nigeria, about 50% or more women think that it is okay to be victims of physical violence by their partners for reasons such as disagreeing with him, burning the food, or leaving the house without permission. So what do we do in the World Development Report? We ask 3 questions. Do these inequalities matter? Do they matter for development? And the answer is yes. Why do they persist? Why, while we see progress in some areas, we haven't in others? And what do we do to eliminate these inequalities and make things move faster? First of all, why should we care about gender equality? 2 big reasons. First of all, because it's the right thing to do. Women, men, everyone have the right to live a life free of violence, free of barriers, and to enjoy it to the best they can. They have the right to well-being, and they have the right to enjoy the benefits of growth and progress in their countries. But also, it's the smart thing to do. As we heard, it's smart economics. It makes economic sense. It will fuel growth. But it will also make a better society. And we find and we identify 3 channels for this. First of all, because gender inequality has economic cost. If we look at productivity among farmers, if we were to equalize access to inputs such as labor and fertilizer, in the case of Burkina Faso, female producers will increase their productivity to the point that the entire productivity of all farmers will increase to about 6%. And globally, that will happen. Same in Nigeria. And if we were to eliminate employment segregation, so men and women could work in the same jobs and in the same sectors, labor productivity will increase by as much as 25%. These are very big numbers. We also know that inequality has a cost for the next generation. It will actually make their lives harder. We know that women who control household earnings will spend more in the health and education of their children. We know that educated women invest more in their children, and for any extra year of education that a mother has, there's more likely that their children will have better school attendance and also be healthier. But we also know that, for example, witnesses of violence are more likely to become abusers as adults. They're more likely to become victims of violence as adults. But even worse, they're likely to have health problems, such as heart attacks and others. So they're going to die early, and they're going to be costlier for a government in terms of their health. And we also know that inequality has a cost in terms of the quality of the institutions and the policy-making decisions. It leads to institutions and policies that are unrepresentative and in many cases not as efficient. We have experiences, for example, in India, where by creating a quota legislation that put women in political office in the local sector, increased investment in water, and we know that water is relevant, for example, to reduce child mortality. And we know historically in the United States that getting women to vote actually increased investment in water and sanitation, which led to a reduction of infant mortality to about 15%. So gender equality has some value. And we also know that the cost of being unequal and remaining unequal will grow bigger in a globalized world. And growth is not enough. We also know that we need to take action, that gender inequality will not go away with growth. So how do we explain why gaps persist and where we be with the key areas, etc.? This is the analytical framework of the World Development Report. So if we think about the small circle that says gender equality, there we have the 3 dimensions that I mentioned before: endowment, agency or voice, and economic opportunities. So household decision making will determine how much voice a woman has, she has a job or not, who do we send to school, who goes to get health care, and who goes to work. And these will depend on things that happen on the other big years. For example, on the formal institutions, service delivery, are there schools? Is there health? Are there legislation issues that will prevent women from getting a job, for example, without a husband's permission? Can women own land? The markets that decide who is the worker that they want to hire, who is the person that they want to give credit to, or who is the person that's going to get the fertilizer to make the baby. And the informal institutions, the culture, the religion, the social networks. what do we think and feel is the right role for women? Are they to stay at home and take care of children? Can women work? Can women participate? What are our prescriptions? All of that information will actually make households decide who can do something or not and how to invest equally or unequally in their families. Growth, in many cases, will help to fuel this, to move the markets, to get more money in the government so that they increase the services, and maybe even to change some beliefs about things. It will increase their income in the household, so the household will have more income to spend. And there are some policies that will help, but when these things don't really change, everything gets jammed. But the idea will be that this will move. So when everything happens, everything moves, and we have a very good working machine.